everybody, welcome back for another round of CocoaDaisy craft time. I'm doing pretty good on the planner challenge this month, and so today is the Traveler's Notebook prompt. Love my Traveler's Notebooks, and so it was kind of tricky to figure out what thing to do for the day. I decided to go ahead and customize my Simple Dori so that it will fit and go in my Traveler's Notebook that I use for my Simple Dories. So this is that Creme B6 Slim, which almost fits, but it's a little tall. So we're gonna cut it down, add a little bit of the cardstock-like papers to toughen it up, because I will be kind of pulling it in, pulling it out as I decorate and mess with these other ones. So there's some beautiful March pages, but that's the plan. I'm not sure how much I will chat or how much I will end up voiceover. We'll kind of play around with both options at this point, but let's dive into this gal. So kind of into the how-to, I take my Simple Dori apart for this process. You can use a staple remover of all sorts. I just happen to have this letter opener that works pretty well instead of going all the way out to my office to get the staple remover that lives out there. So that's me, but you do you. And however you do it, just be careful because it is metal, it's sharp, gotta give all the warnings nowadays. But all I'm doing is just lifting up those barbs on this side, and then I can easily get under it and pop them out on that side. Make sure I toss them all the way into the trash. Now I just take the cardstock, craft paper cardstock right off of there. Sometimes I'll use it in different parts of my crafting for the month. Sometimes it just ends up going to a stash. But I love this page that they do with this little, welcome box that you can decorate up. It just works for me really well. As I'm setting this out, one of the few things I've got already out here and ready is my papers. I do like to toughen up the inside pages that will be going on that string and the two outer pages, because the Simple Dori's paper is definitely way more flexible than even the cardstock bits you get. This one's extra durable, so I use that in the middle. I also picked a tab because I like to tab mine. However, now that I'm looking at that, I mean, going for matchy-matchy, it's beautiful, but it's a little too matchy-matchy for me, so I'm actually going to switch to this one instead. Have a little contrast to it. And yeah, let's see here. So what I have found to make this easier is I do cut each paper at a time. I try not to get the papers out of order at this stage. Sometimes when I'm creating, I will rotate them around. I've gone through, I do know that there's one image that is going to get chopped. This guy right here. He's at the bottom, and so normally I cut from the bottom. Everything else is just cute patterns, nothing to worry about direction-wise. All the quotes are high enough, but I always flip through just to make sure if I cut this bit off that we're good. And now that I say the bottom, yes, it is the bottom that I cut. Okay. Yeah, all right. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to leave them, like I said, together here, and then we're going to pile them up here and keep them in order. But I do like to cut it just at the same size, but single paper. It seems to work really well for me. And I'm cutting these down to 7 3/16. I do keep some of these little sticker tabs. They're not Avery ones, but I know Avery makes some, but good little post-it sticky tabs on here, so that way I can always make it a little easier on my brain when I'm doing this, that I can just, instead of having to every time go 7 3/16, 7 3/16, instead I can just go right to the green. Boom. And we've got it right there. first cut done. And I'm putting it face down, so I keep that in mind as I'm moving it across. I do keep these bits. Gosh, I feel like this Simple Dori is like thinner paper than past ones. That's curious. Maybe it's just tonight. I've been working in some thicker papers lately, so maybe it's just me. So this one with that pug, I am cutting him off a bit. I'm not in love with the pug theme, so I'll be covering him up anyway, so we can safely just chop off his little body. Now this one, I'm going to actually cut from the other side. It's got this little stripe up there. Not feeling it, and the butterflies are lower, so I'm going to cut it the opposite way. Now the one thing I'm going to be sure to do is just make sure I still have the top standing up with the rest of it. So, ooh, and that one has cute fuzz too. All right, and just like that, we've cut our Simple Dori to a B6 slim height on there. Now, first things first, I am going to round my edges. I do prefer the round edged look and feel, no stabby corners coming at you. So let's just go this way. The hardest part about doing this every month is that a month goes by in between doing it, and so I end up getting rusty in remembering the steps. So I do have a little cheat sheet that I want to make nicer. It's just handwritten, some sizes and pieces that way, but I do want to make it nicer and put it somewhere safe, because one, I always spend way too much time searching for that, but it does help me remember a few things. And you'll see when I do this little box in a little bit that I do have some templates I'll use at times as well to help keep things in the same direction. Deaf dog, why are you walking around making all the noise? And I am just tossing the bits onto the floor. I do not worry about getting all the little tiny bits into the trash can, sometimes even the bigger bits, until I am cleaning up from an entire project. I'm definitely a messy crafter. I need a tidy space to start. Prefer. If I have a nice tidy, everything is where it lives. Like most of the tools that I pulled out here, they were all in their drawers or their little sticky spots where they live. But then as I'm actually in here doing all this, I'll make one hot mess of this room. And I need to do it before and after one of the days, like, to really show the chaos that ensues. But anyway, that's where all that's just getting tossed right onto the floor for it that way. So now we have nice, neat, round edges for this. And then, because I put it on the strings of the Traveler's Notebook, our topic of the day, I actually go ahead, let's see, one of these that, while this is the right height, this fits into this cover perfect. The way the string is a little bit in on the cover. And so when you slide that in, it'll pull on the spine of your insert here. So what I do to prevent that from creasing, bending, smushing, all that kind of stuff, I use an envelope punch board, and I just cut out that spine chunk. And so it's nice, these are already folded, you have a line, you put that line right in the center of this, and boom, it puts a little divot in it. And that divot allows the string to hold this nice and sturdy the way it's supposed to be, but not to push and dent and tear and weaken my spine. Apparently, I mean for the thesaurus words, the thesaurus. Every time I feel in these first videos like I'm rambling or saying silly things and mixing up my words, I remind myself how much I love Allie Brown's videos and all her silly word mix-ups and stuff like that when she gets things twisted and gobbledygooked and embraces them, and how real and enjoyable that is. So I hope I come off even as slightly entertaining as that. Would be amazing, but it helps me to not have to fight my perfectionism and stop the tape and start over again, which you can't do when you're in the middle of all this. But yeah, it can be tricky when your head gets started on thinking about all the things that are going on. But that's this month's goal. This month's goal is to just record it, post it, get it out there and done, and then get all the practice of that, and hopefully get better. Just get better at it as we go. So, last one. We're going to be covering up some butterflies. Okay, and this is one of the things that will happen as you're messing around with this. I've got all my pages not out of order, but they're backwards, so I just need to make sure that I take them back into the correct amounts. All right, now that is looking and feeling the way I like it, transformed to me. So back to my little cheat sheet. I'm looking over here to see what size I'm going to cut down this paper for the inside sheet in here. So I do enjoy my Cricut cutter. It's been working really well for me. So we're going to take one and we're gonna take all right, 425 inches wide. So let's see here, 4.25. So that's here. And there's nothing wrong with measuring twice, right? So let's double check that seems appropriate. Oh no, that makes sense. Okay, so 4 1/4. Yeah. I am keeping all these spare pieces of paper. Like I said, I keep the cover ones as well. These ones I just go through with this little circle punch and usually cut out of those. But these bigger pieces, I'm got a job for my sticker pocket, so that's really great. But I keep all the little scrap from projects, so that way when I'm filling this out, I can use them in various kind of creations there. But that got my skinniness of this beautifully flush. Now we just got to do the height on it. And 3/16 should it be the same? Yeah, same height. Okay. So our little sticker's gone, but all right, that's the right height as well. Yay! I like it when it does it well. We'll treat this the same way. Corners. And a little punch. Sometimes there's one side of the paper that's better than the other to see your crease in there. Not necessarily is it the inside crease versus the outside, but it's more the pattern that's on the paper. Some of the colors can kind of hide it just right. And you can hear how much heavier this paper is, right? So that is going to be my nice thick inside paper. Now we need to cut pages for the inside cover at least. So I do tend to slip it this way. So I have had a few of them where I have not put paper on the back side, and I think this is going to be one of them because I really, the butterflies they did this month are adorable. So I think I'm going to keep this, and so rather than end up covering it up with the whole sheet, I'm not going to stress too much about the back page on this. So we'll do just the front part of the cover today. And so it's that same 4 1/4 for the width. Same extra piece of paper, and then same 7 3/16. I actually might end up learning that number now that I'm getting on to doing these. All right, so this guy, there's 2 things. I have to remember to put this on first, and then we also need to have some glue ready. So I'm going to take the rest of my book away. It fits right on this page really nice. So we have to do our corners as well. Yeah, fits perfect. So the reason I used to double back this entire cover, so I put a whole sheet of paper on this, but then getting the fold right and getting it to still hug the rest of the insides was kind of hit or miss on it, and was driving me a bit batty. And so doing it this way has been a lot easier. Let's see, have I been going down in them? I have. So if I keep that pattern of moving them down, this one's going to be a bottom one. So I'm going to put this on the inside of the paper. It's not always a success in your first round. I have had these tabs have not been as sticky lately. I know that my other April one in my Stalogy is already, it keeps popping up on me, and that seemed to like come apart really easy. So let's give it a nice raw. Before I put, actually I'm going to do that. So I have this little stitcher. It's a handheld sewing machine. The reviews are awful, rightly so, because if you were actually trying to sew with this thing, you're crazy. It is not truly meant for that, despite the fact that that's how it's sold. However, with a little bit of tweaking on this bottom plate not being quite as grabby, I did kind of bend it around a little bit. I have had it work on paper pretty darn well. I wanted to do it on the January one of the tabs that wasn't sticking, but I'd already had it in the cover, as well as I had the sticker already on it. And when I was trying to run this through, the plate was grabbing the sticker, and I only had the one sticker, so I didn't want to mess it up. So I ended up stapling that one. But since we still have a chance to put this in here, let's do it. So that way, because this has one neater side of stitching on one side versus the back side has a little bit less, but we're going to be gluing this in here and covering that. So we're going to do it. All I have to do is line it up like that. It's got a little power button here, and then you pray. And cross your fingers and hope you can play around. I don't mind if it's a little squiggly, but I don't want it too crazy. So let's see if we can't do this. Awesome. I'm getting better at it. And then this little thing twirls it up, so that way you're bringing the needle out of the paper. Now this is the tricky part, in that depending on when the stitch was, is where it will be down here. And you need to pinch the edge of the, hold on one second, gotta make sure my power gets back on for you guys. This is the only thing that messes up. There we go. Hopefully you're charging. But anyway, so you pinch that so then you can pull your string out. If you don't, if you just try and pull your string out, you're gonna pull it out of this stitch. It does not keep it locked on its own. You have to lock it yourself. So I'm gonna grab my trusty little tweezers from my drawer. I'm trying to film in a different location today, so just a location in my craft room, but even still a different spot. Okay, so it went one stitch farther than I am gonna do. So I'm gonna undo one and then pull it right here. Pull that back part right out, and so that locks it. And then with my actual pointy tweezers rather than my dull ones, I'm going to grab the end of the string and I'm going to poke it right back through that hole it just came out of. Right through there. Trying not to tear my paper too much. But if I can poke it through just a wee bit, then I can pull it through. Might be better with the flat ones. So you can pull it through the front, and that makes it locked, but then the danglies are both on the front if you like the danglies. I'm going to cut them just a wee bit shorter. They're a little bold, but that adds a nice stitch. And now that tab is not going anywhere. It's on there all the way. And man, did I get that kind of straight. Look at them. All right. So now to glue this to there, just my Tombow permanent adhesive is what I'm going to do. Sometimes I'll do glue stick. But I think for today, this is going to do the trick on this one. I do try and get up to the edges as much as I can, and I can run this right over this string because we locked it, so I don't have to worry about it pulling. Just the edges is enough. Then I can line up my outer edges because that's where it's really going to match size-wise. So we'll match it up as close as we can, hoping we don't have to trim anything. Ah, and look at that, we're putting it upside down. I hope someone was hollering at me on that. Thankfully, don't curse yourself here. If you don't push down the tape just yet, it's fairly forgiving in the beginning, but once you kind of rub it on there, it's gonna get on there, but we caught it. Okay, so I'm just lining up one corner here, and then the bottom one. There we go. Woo, that was close. I already did my happy accidents for this month, so I'd rather not do that again. Awesome. All right. There we go. All right, and then I will end up putting a little, the little sticker there for April 2022 and decorating the front. But that's her. She's papered up. She's ready to go. So then I can grab this, and I actually need to rotate. I am still behind on my memory keeping, and so let's see if we can we fit 4 in here? Look at me pull it out by the back when I said I didn't do that. This one actually still needs its papers all done and tabs, but it's April already. Like I said, I'm behind. I'm gonna snap that on that one. Normally I only keep 3 in here. My goal is to only have 3 going at a time. But I'm so close to finishing December. Almost there. And then I can get into this year, which is crazy. But I'm going to be working on April's now this month, just because some of the challenges, like the one I'm doing tomorrow, is for the Washi Wednesday, is going to go right in here, specifically on this page. And then I have a this or that I've got planned. I've got a couple things, so I'm going to just end up putting them right in here, and then I can go through and fill it out with end of the month things as I go. But that is setting up my Simple Dori for my traveler's notebook, and she's fat and happy. I'll see if I can get some good pictures to post, but thanks for sticking with me through that. Stay tuned for more fun stuff, and we'll see you later.